they just did a bunch of homework.
Making pretty good tips.
Friday night.
Right, man.
It was
What's the most expensive car that you've downloaded?
probably like a minivan.
Okay.
So there's some nice ones.
And Bugattis?
Yeah, something. Sometimes you have a few Rolls Royces that roll through.
Yeah. Anyone else? Anything exciting? All right, so we are in week 5. So we have the end of this week to kind of prepare our first presentations as a group. So next Tuesday and Thursday, we will come up here as a group and show what we have for assignment 1. So let's just briefly go over the assignment 1 for our marketing plan. Okay, so we're looking at company profile, right? Company profile. So we're saying, hey, we need company name, industry code, right? North American Industry Classification System, NAICS. Is that confusing, this company code concept? Right? We think our government has categorized each sort of business into a particular classification, right? So it may be retail, food industry, if it is, what kind of food, and then subcategories of those larger categories, right? So we just talk about how our government kind of classifies this, right? So we want to have that so we know exactly what sort of industry that we're in, right? Understanding industry itself, and what the industry means to us, market. Hey, the headquarters, if possible, the headquarters may be the actual location of maybe some retail store that you're involved with. The year founded, right? What years it founded? We want to know how long it's been in business. Hey, how many employees are there? Annual revenue and estimate of it. We don't need exact figures, but something where we can get an idea of, hey, you're making this and you got these many employees. In our mind, we're thinking like, right? We can kind of gauge how the performance of this operation is. Now, for example, you say, hey, we got 10 employees, but we only made, our revenue was, I don't know, $100,000. Like 10 employees, what do you pay these employees? $10,000 a year, right? We can kind of estimate that that's not a great business, right? So we can get some good ideas from this. And then the link to the website, if one is available, and a financial information page, if it's a public company, if applicable, right? It could be that whoever you reach out to, the organization may give you some sort of financial information, but you're able to find it online. They can find it online to some degree. And that's it. So, you'll have a PowerPoint presentation to come up here with your group, right? Submit one assignment per team. Things of that nature. Actually, if you can, everybody submit the assignment in the group. Kind of makes it easier to grade. So if you can remember everybody's submit. Okay, any questions, any confusion about that? That's pretty clear, straightforward? Okay. Yes. I mean, how we want to do it, some people use Microsoft Word, some people are always using Google Docs. I mean, how would you do it on here to submit it in blank? That's all. Yeah, put it like Word, instead of Google Doc files, and there goes. Okay, all right, so Unit 5, we're looking at STP, right? Segmentation, targeting, position. Really big things, concepts in marketing, right? Really huge, because we can kind of gather very quickly that we understood how a company segments, how it targets people, and its position in the marketplace. We can gather a lot segmentation, targeting, and positioning. All right, segmentation, easily put. Slice the pie. You say, hey, we make a product, and we divide this product for different types of people who have different types of needs and wants and desires, who have different types of income, who have different types of personalities, right? Uniqueness, identities, they are different in some way, right? Now, very few products that we can say, hey, they're universal, everybody wants it. Whether they're 90 years old or 3 years old, they need it. They want it, right? Very rare that we see things like that. In other ways, and so if we are to just generalize, think about this even for your companies, because this is a huge one. You go into the place and you say, well, I see the menu, but have they segmented in any way? Is there kids menu? Is there kids option? Is there a senior discount? Is there seniors? Right. Denny's has been, who's familiar with Denny's on Harlem? Right, great place, great, been there for a long, long time. You know, how did they survive? What's the fascinating about Denny's? Well, parking, affordable prices, food is good. Food is good. Wouldn't say it's the greatest ever, but it's good. You will probably be satisfied. Probably won't spend that much. You still get good service. And there's options for everybody of every type of taste. Taste and preferences are no issue. Right? So you're like, well, that's good. Okay, they have a kids menu. They have a cheap menu. You know, so you're like, hey, you got $5, you still eat a good meal. Right? They have, you know, more expensive. Right? They have everything. You want steak, you can get steak. You don't have to go to a steakhouse. Right? You get a burger there too, you can get chicken sandwich. They have discounts for seniors, so they've kind of incorporated values to each individual group. Like each group doesn't feel left out. They don't feel generalized. It's a big free for all, right? That is the main challenge, I think, for a lot of businesses. Like the proper segmentation so that you can, once you segment it, and you say, okay, now I understand the different types of people who said, could we give them a name? Right? You're like, oh, there's Mary. Like, who's Mary? Well, Mary's like 25. She's Hispanic. She's a professional. She has a certain socioeconomic status. Her desires, needs, and wants at her particular point in life. This. Right? Female. Anybody, okay, anyone else that comes here? You got there's Bob. Who's Bob? He's 65 years old, white guy, lots of money saved up, but still kind of frugal, right? Really conscious about how he spends, right? Things like that. And you like, we got Bob, we got Mary, right? We can have anybody in different categories. We give them a name, right? Because it's all about simplification. So if you're expressing this to a marketing team or marketing group, everybody knows what we're talking about without being too complicated. Right? So you build a persona. You say, literally, in each category there is a personality, an actual type of person, a stereotype or an archetype. Right? So there's an archetype of a person that buys a different price point. Right? We all have MacBooks and iPhones and Samsung Galaxy. And we think of how Apple segmented that. But it says, I don't want to pay close to $2,000. I don't have it. But I still like iPhone. I have a relationship with it. I won't start all over again and figure out what I'm doing. Right? And then you have people who prices no issue. They'll go buy the Apple Glass, Apple iPhone. Right? So that's the segmentation. We say dividing the pie. It gets so interesting because you keep saying how further can you divide the pie? How far can the rabbit hole go? Even when you divide it, like, hey, could we divide it even more? And dedicate marketing call call to action. Like, what do you do to make someone act? Buy now, 10% off by the end of the day. That's that call to action. When somebody acting, I'll take it now. I gotta use my points today. Inspire. Call to action. I get to do something to make people happy. You have to send a message out there to make those individuals happy. So yeah, our textbook definition, right? More precisely defined groups of consumers and organizations, because first we talked about, consumers, and we talked about businesses. Right? We could always divide businesses too into smaller segmentations too. Who have common needs, right, are expected to respond similarly to a marketing action. Common needs within the group who will respond kind of in the same way within it. Advantages, cut through the clutter. Allow companies to cut through the massive amount of marketing hitting the broader market. Proves the ability and success rate. When we say in marketing, we can't just say all these fancy things, these really cool concepts. They have to be measurable. We have to actually say, hey, remember we did that campaign for that specific segmented group, right? For John, right? For the persona of John, whoever. We put that out in February 2025, and guess what? We saw an increase of sales by 13%. Like, whoa, okay, it seems to be effective. Or you say, hey, remember we spent $50 million on that campaign ad during the Super Bowl? Like, we did that, and no, the sales didn't increase at all. So let's make sure we fire that marketing manager tomorrow. Okay, $50 million lost from the business. Right? You're fired. Right? You're not effective in these things that we're learning about, communicating meaning and messages and symbolism that attracts people to a product or service or desires to tap into their psychology, their subconscious mind, and make them buy that awesome sweatshirt, that hoodie, and buy those Nikes with that color, right? You have to tap into something subconscious. Difficult job to have, very difficult job, right? Because you're saying given budgets and then it's being measured, right? You're either successful or you're failure. And then, once again, provides proper use of the budget, right? The money can't just be frivolously spent, it has to be very well tailored and managed throughout this process. Hey, improve focus on important customers. Not every customer is as important as the next. There's typically 80-20. 20% of your loyal customers probably give you 80% of your revenue. Right? Like they come here, they've been coming here forever. And then we got passers-by who try it once, never come back, casual, maybe they're tourists, they don't count. Right? We want to market the tourist market, but we don't care about trying to retain one tourist individual. Right? So some customers are more important than others. You notice this I don't know if you all maybe shop at like places like Nordstrom's, Marcus, Saks Avenue, anyone shop at those places? But usually they keep an account, right? So they know how much money you spend at the store buying your Gucci shoes, right? Your Yeezys, whether you bought the little house that J.D. Smith wore on his head for Grammys or something, right? They keep an account of this, right? They keep an account. They're like, oh, this person spent about $30,000 last year. Let's treat them differently. You want coffee? You sit down. I can get you 20% off that, right? Like, I won't tell the other customers this. Right? But my manager is giving me sort of leeway because guess what? A lifespan of you shopping here, you're gonna make us a ton of money. The other people, who cares? Right? They never shop here. So some customers are more important than others, and that's that we allocate the money, right? We allocate the money from the budget to say, well, put more money towards the people who are important, put less money to the people who are unimportant. Or you could have different strategies, like, hey, I wanna convert people who don't value this place, this product, this whatever, this business, right? I wanna convert them to become important. How do you convert unimportant people to become important people? Right, it's so funny that marketing, I mean, you may not be thinking about this, but who has a LinkedIn page? I'm not sure to ask for. 1, 2, 3. Raise your hand if you have a LinkedIn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And you're like, if you don't, and you go apply for a job, and on, on LinkedIn, it'll actually have jobs, like and all that. It'll show you how many people apply, right? You're like, man, that's a lot of resumes to look at. They're using AI software. You got to be a certain format. Else it just automatically gets rejected, right? So, word of advice: make sure you're kind of tailoring your resumes to the correct format. There's a format, right? That certain industries want. But if you don't have a LinkedIn, literally, how do you exist? That these people in the modern age of technology, you don't exist. So either we just looking at a piece of paper and say, wow, I like your name. Oh, ooh, look at that experience. Everybody has that. So once again, you're kind of like, hey, how do you become unique in a world full of saturated internet presence or something? Yeah, I recommend getting a LinkedIn page at the least. I don't know, you can consider it as a professional social networking, right? Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. LinkedIn is for professionals. It's all about business and your job, your experience, and things you're doing professionally, right? Because if not, literally, you have not marketed yourself well. As an individual human being, you have no good marketing. Nobody knows you exist other than your friends and family. Right? So, I mean, we can apply this to a personal sort of perspective. Like those who may get at the top of that hierarchy of importance, they sell themselves great. Because make no mistake about it, you are selling yourself to society. You're marketing yourself. Right? Some people are good at it. Some people are not. Some people are not even in the marketplace to begin with. So consider that. So I consider, I would say like, hey, if you don't have LinkedIn, get one. Start one, look at other, LinkedIn things and try to craft something to market yourself, right? Hey, you think you're awesome. Wonderful. Maybe some people close to you think that you're awesome. Right? Nobody else knows. So if they don't know, I don't know the road matters. Yeah, this is just kind of the nature of the marketplace, right? All right, so, hey, segmentation, cut through the clutter, improve focus on the important customers, improve product development, allow marketers to better understand what consumers want in a product or service. So if we divide these people, we like, oh, we found these personas. So now, simply all we have to do is go to these personas, have a focus group, have to fill out a survey after they buy a product. What do you like? What do you don't like? What do you wish to be improved? Right? And then we get that information like, hey, guess what? Our important customers really like that we have this add-on features. How about we roll out a campaign with this new add-on extra? Right? We are satisfying people's needs. If we satisfy, people will come back. Right? If people are happy, they come back. If they're not happy, they will not return. And improve brand loyalty. When customers feel that your company's products or services are a good fit for them, they're more likely to stick with your brand or recommend it to others. Free marketing. Right? Think about everyday conversations you have with people about somebody. Let's say it's whoever. Sexy red. point is, if you are conversing about the person, you're like, oh, it's controversial, it's bad publicity, like it doesn't matter, it's free market. Basically, they're kind of telling you, hey, thanks for the free market, thanks for communicating this message without having me to spend money to do it. Right? So you think of these controversial things that these people do, Kanye, Jaden Smith, excellent market. Right? We can say what you want about it. Like, oh, stupid, I don't know. I mean, who cares, right? Even if you commented on the who cares part, free market. Right? They didn't have to pay anybody, right? Thank you for communicating the message. You made more people aware about it, more people are going to check it out. And now you've up your brand as a celebrity person. But we could view that too as a company as well too. Right? Free market is good. Make people happy or even sometimes pissed off. You know, you give free market. But if you make them happy, they will stick with your plan and recommend it to others. Right? You'll recommend good products to people that you care about. Right? Don't buy that, you should buy this. All right, 4 major types of segmentation, right? Simply put, we want to know where. Where do these people exist? Right, we're Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, we gotta get to these people. What? Every neighborhood. Right, certain neighborhoods we don't care to get to. We don't care to buy our stuff like that. We want to get to where people have a need. So we gotta figure out where. Where do they buy? Right? It was Amazon. Oh, we need people with phones and laptops and tablets. Right? And then we need to know who. Who are the people? What's their ethnic background? What's their socioeconomic status? How much money they make? What's their education level? And what is their profession? Right? We need to know all these different things about who are they. And then we need the behavioral one. Right? The how. How do they buy? How do they do it? How is their behavior? How do they go about their day-to-day? And then the hardest one is the psychographic. You know, because literally it's like asking people like, hey, why do you like that person? And then you give like 5 things why you like them. But then there's just some things you can't really put into words. Hard to describe certain things. But oh, I love that person. What do you mean I love? But, I don't know. It's universal definition, and no one really knows. It's a mental concept, basically. Yeah, it's a mental concept. I love that person. We don't even know that. Hard to kind of put in work, hard to describe. We know what it means internally. We're like, I know exactly what it means. But we're like, I just can't really describe it. But if we're marketers, like, we gotta figure out what that is. Right? We gotta figure out why they love it. Why they love it. All right, some segmentations of the where, right? The where part. We say things like cultural preferences. Right? Cultural preference. Like, we prefer it at this time of the year because I'm Jewish, right? And this is a festive holiday season. Black, and Black History Month, right? Juneteenth, Christian, and celebrate this, and that, right? Easter, Christmas, etc. Something, right? The preference for culture. Those are cultural identities, right? Ethnic, religious, doesn't matter. Gender, sex, all sorts of things, right? Well, hey, there's cultural preferences. We say within those cultures, we need to figure out what the preferences are. That's specific cultural group. The climate or the season. Hey, I don't know. You're not walking outside with shorts, right? So you're not going to go to the store to see shorts on the rack. Clothes. shoes and shorts and all of that, right? But things, it really depends on the climate. There's not a need for certain things. So what do you do about that? So, figure out, who gets the retail at the restaurant? Who might have a restaurant? What's the restaurant? Oh, something like that. The Submarine. Do you know if they sell ice cream or coffee? Milkshake. Right? And so you gotta figure out things like that. There are some companies who I've seen in Oak Park. The guy is a friend of mine, he opened up an ice cream shop on like Madison Avenue on the south side of, the north side of the street, this Oak Park. But he's gone. His business lasted like a year and a half. You know, I would go in here and I would kind of ask him what the plan was. I'm like, all right, it's summertime, I know you got ice cream, but what are you gonna do during the wintertime? And literally, I don't think he even thought about it. You know, I don't think he thought about it. Like, you have to think about, no one's gonna want to eat ice cream like that. Right? You might go in there and still get it, but not like that. So you gotta think, hey, some things are climate oriented. Right? What do you do about when it's a different climate? Language, big one, right? It's pretty easy to understand. Population type or density. Are you in a rural marketplace? I think the fitness facilities, right, in the back, who's in a fitness facility or athletic center? Are you doing it in the city? It's in the suburbs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right, you kind of think like, hey, you know what, we need to be far out because to purchase a huge complex, too expensive in the city of Chicago. No one wants to deal with parking situations, so you definitely need some parking available. Yeah, it's about coming in as easy as possible with a fitness center, right? And you have a fitness center where people got to look for parking, pay the need or not, probably won't work as well, right? Huge income thing. Almost stops us even from our gyms. Like, we might go to a gym, you know, they got a parking structure, like, that's a huge factor in decision making. If you go to the gym, you're like, dude, I gotta find parking, he's trying to come here, yeah, you're like, no, I'll go somewhere else. Right? Huge decision on like things like that. Which means you probably wanna go out into suburb or rural area because you need, the facility is the most important factor. Right? And then the who, right? Gender, right? Gender is highly important. We go into the store, you got male clothing and female clothing. They look completely different. Different sizings, styles, fabrics, etc., etc. Income, huge. If you don't have the money, you can't afford it. Age, right? Age range. My age group has a different tastes and preferences. Or a simple concept of experience, right? I mean, I've been your age, and I probably purchased the same exact way that you purchased. I mean, I had probably the same exact behavior that you had. But then you're like, well, if you made money, you probably moved up in the restaurants you want to go to, you try, places you want to visit. You may start off something like, oh, let's go to DR, Columbia, Vegas, Miami, right? But it made me move up and like, I don't want to go where a lot of people is. I want to go somewhere that nobody even knows how to pronounce the name of the place. Maybe go somewhere exotic, which means that we have different preferences because of age is experience, right? And so you have to cater to those experiences. Life cycle or stage. Children are a huge market to anything. Actually, you can become very successful if you could perfectly market to children. On YouTube, they have Ryan's World. Anyone ever seen that? Ryan's World? You know, Ryan is this young kid. He's in the house with his parents. Look like they got pretty decent money, and he just goes around talking about all the cool stuff. Little science experiments, playing with his toys. But Ryan has like one of the largest followings on YouTube, right? Like in the billions, like maybe a couple billion, right? So like, by simply catering to children, because children will never stop being produced, and kind of the same thinking never changes for children. You're still gonna learn. Here's for example, letters don't have colors, do they? The letters have colors. Yes or no? Huh? Alright, no. So let me ask you, what's the color of the letter A? Huh? What's the color of the letter A? Give me your first answer, your real honest response. Thank you. We just established the letters don't have color. A is for what?
Okay.
Alright, thank you. So you're like, hey, you know what? Like that simple concept. You're like, ooh, oh my gosh, I can get 1 billion followers on YouTube by doing the alphabet. A through Z. You're like, but think about how we all want to be like more savvy. Oh my gosh, I'm going to start a podcast just like such and such. We want to. You want to cater to whatever the people are doing in your age group. Podcasts are or have a cool podcast. But you really think about it, the most successful people who actually make the real money, like I said, it's going back to the candy bars, Hershey's, that'll never stop, that'll forever be there. We'll do like cater to children, do the alphabets. Have 100 million followers, why? Because parents are tired. They'll like put their kids in front of the TV and put on YouTube, right? Why? Because they want to deal with a crying baby on there. There you go, watch the alphabet. Right? Win-win. So sometimes less is more. Simplicity is usually the way to success. I'll tell you that. Simplicity is usually the way to success. Less is usually more. Right? Because less is usually means like there's a natural thing about it that everybody can understand. But yeah, hey, life cycle. I talked about babies, what about older people? Older people can get sick. Pharmaceutical companies, mom and dad on 100 pills, they go to pharmacy, CVS, Walgreens, deliver it through an app, right? A lot of money being made there. Some of the most money in this country is pharmaceuticals, right? Controlling medical information too, WebMD, things like that. Hey, you need assistive devices, hearing aids, glasses, walkers, wheelchairs. Huge market investment. Okay, next thing, demographic, education. Right, you come to school, you need school supplies. You go to university, you need a laptop, you need a tablet, maybe, but you definitely need a phone of some kind. Apple recognizes it. Race, ethnicity, we covered that, occupation. Hey, if you're a lawyer, you got different needs. If you're a medical doctor, you got different needs. People who work, and then family structure, marital status, and children. Okay, and then the how. Right? We say how, occasion-based, special, tradition, cultural, special. Be like, hey, it's Halloween time. Let's put up our Halloween stuff. Right? Traditional. It is Easter time. Let's put out our Easter stuff. Right? Yom Kippur, things of that nature. Right? Ramadan. And then the cultural aspects, which includes that as well too. And then there's usage-based. Convenience, everyday, or emergency. Hey, did you buy an air pump for your car? Right? Sell air pumps. Everyone's going to usually need emergency. Something. Right? Especially in the city of Chicago, get cold weather. Don't matter what the car is. I don't care if it's brand new or old. The tires go flat. In cold weather, right? Probably need to fill up at least once or twice over the winter. Convenience. McDonald's. McDonald's sells convenience. It's everywhere. Right? And then there's everyday purchases. Think about what are everyday purchases that we need. Which companies are killing it because they satisfy literally everyday purchases. Think of it. you don't need stuff. Like, you don't necessarily need it, okay, but coffee. Okay, coffee. So like coffee, you don't necessarily need it, but I need it. I'm like a crackhead for coffee. Right? So I show up to Starbucks. Starbucks is my drug dealer. I need to ask my people. Get the word. Like, what do you put my name on? Right? But I go to Starbucks, I need Starbucks. Right? But what else? Like you need. Target? Yeah, like, okay, if you take a company every day, company that sells every day, Target, but think of a product. Yes. Toilet paper. What are you gonna do without toilet paper? Paper towel. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna use your sweater? You get what I'm saying? So once again, you know, we always thinking beyond all these fancy things, but really the ones who, the companies that stay forever, the ones that who say 75 years, established 1935, blah, blah, blah. Scott Tissue, right? Bounty toilet, bounty paper towels. Right? So everyday items, like, this is forever. The only thing that will change is if some new competitors come with tri-row, three-row, you know, three-layer rows. Ooh, super soft, Charmin. Ooh, this, right? You're like, even there's a segmentation. Like, some people can't afford it, they get the cheap thin toilet paper, they gotta use it all quickly. Some people like, no. But I got my toilet paper. Some people like, don't get that cheap paper towel, because it takes 4 or 5 rolls just to get something still. Right? So like, even with simple things like that, we segment that, right? 3-ply, 2-ply, 1-ply, corner store, convenience store, cheap toilet, right? We could segment it. We could segment it by family. Say, hey, go to the Costco one. You can buy 50 rolls in one pack, right? Because we have 8 children. So that's the segmentation of how. All right, and then the why. You know, why? We say personality, lifestyle, values. Hey, what are you interested in? What kind of activities are you involved in? What kind of opinions do you have? Social media, how influential and how do you use it? And then that overall kind of describes your personality. So we call this psychographic segmentation. Why? We can make poor people buy Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and it can't pay a rent. Right? Gucci, Louis Vuitton is still like, I don't care about that. What I want is their money. They're poor, which means that they probably need to cater to self-esteem, right? Like you don't have, and you see so many others have, you may want to feel good about yourself, but you don't have to. That seems to be a natural response, right? You have to make yourself feel good, because we are pleasure-principled humans. And we desire pleasure over all, over logic. Whereas the illogical, companies know it is, and it doesn't matter. We're here to make money, right? They're not here to change their rationality. So Gucci, Louis Vuitton says, hey, we will cater to younger people. They didn't do that before. Gucci, Louis Vuitton were not about younger urban people. People in, you know, all sorts of things for that demographic. They were for older and affluent people. That's like, we don't want everybody to have this. It might mess up our brand. The strategy's like, don't let everybody be able to afford this. Then we're no longer exclusive. We're no longer unique. We're no longer Louis Vuitton or Gucci. We're just some affordable clothing accessories. That was the original sort of idea. And then now, you say things change, right? It changed because because younger people do have the expendable income, or don't, it doesn't matter, they're paying for it. Doesn't matter how money is gathered or not gathered. But now they desire and want it, right? So new strategy for Gucci would crop up, right? The new strategy, in fact, hey, well, we have to create some different designs for those demographics, and then keep the classic, simple designs for the older people who've been buying here 30, 40 years. There'll be a difference in price, right? The older people, we may have to even increase the price to separate the gap between those who can afford it and those who don't. So yeah, lifestyle, personality, and then your values, right? We all believe in different political ideologies that changes how we buy, don't buy, boycott, et cetera, et cetera. We all have different religious beliefs, changes how we buy, we all have different things that we just kind of view are important. And then we have our values framework, right? Innovators, thinkers, believers, achievers, strivers, experiencers, makers, and survivors. So these 8 consumer types. First one, innovators, characterized by high income and high resources and are motivated to achieve the finer things in life. These are people who purchase Bugattis, Ferraris, right? Exquisite mansions. They want to be the first to buy, right? Before everybody else can even maybe afford it, before it becomes affordable. Right? They are the innovators. They lead the charge. They appreciate the finer things in life and are willing to pay for finer things. Then we get the thinkers, are consumers who have resources and are motivated by their knowledge, right? Technical things. Even though we can talk about medical things as well too, things that require a high bit of knowledge before making a decision to buy. So we have to market to them differently. You know, they're conscious, they're aware, they love information, so we gotta make sure that the information is out there so they feel satisfied before we work. Believers look to their peers for affirmation for their decisions. They have fewer resources than innovators or thinkers. Probably largely your age group, I would probably say, right? Looking to reaffirm from peers, social media, that's hot, that's not, that's lame, that get riz, right? And probably very creative, right? You're like, hey, you know what, I'm looking out there because I love creativity, I love all these ideas. It's wonderful, right? Motivated by the creativity. And then achievers tend to be high resource consumers who want to excel both at the workplace and within their families, right? So another type of consumer type. Who could you think of some professions for this type? For achievers, high resource, want to excel, both at the workplace and within their families. Did you think of a type of person or profession that I guess the market could have chosen? Right? Anyone in sort of a professional aspect, right? When we say professional, when we talk about white collar individuals, right? We won't market the same to blue collar as we will white collar. Strivers tend to be lower resource consumers. They have similar values as achievers, but lack the same level of resources. Now, it's kind of, a lot of blue collar jobs make more than white collar. Right? So blue collar is not below that, but let's just say maybe on average, right? In terms of the resources. Experiences have relatively high resources and want to experience being different, right? trust fund babies, right? People who are highly wealthy, come from a highly wealthy family, they could spend their money and fly anywhere around the world, it doesn't matter, money's no object, but they just wanna have it be unique. And then makers, like experiencers, want self-expression, but they lack the resource to make that happen, so they tend to be more focused on building a better family than spending money. And then survivors have the least number of resources and are likely to adopt innovative products. All right, so here's a discussion question for our groups. Give me a few minutes. Hey, somewhat like the Coca-Cola wars of the 1980s, quick service food chains are engaging in chicken wars. Listen, discuss two ways. I don't really like this discussion question, right? But maybe we could position it differently. Maybe I can ask you about a company that you can think of and tell me how it segments what it offers to different groups. And if you could describe maybe the personalities of those. Always it was archetype, John, Lucy, Maria. If you can think of something. So, hey, maybe we all think of different companies, right? So maybe talk amongst your group, think of a company, think of how it differentiates what it offers, and maybe if you can think of some of the personality traits of the people who buy those different segments. So you have about 4 or 5 minutes. Let's see what you come up with. You know, for one group, I want you to, let's say this group right there. No, down, right, yeah. Segment the university. Tell me how is it segmented, and who are the different people within those segmentations, right? need more time. Right? We have a tendency to want to belong and be unique at the same time, right? Which means that we identify ourselves by being members in groups, different types of groups, teams, ethnic groups, cultural groups, professional groups, religious groups. But even within those sort of groups, we still like the sense of being unique. So there's like this competitiveness to be different than each other in some subtle, tiny, tiny way. Right? We're looking for tiny little differences that can make us stand out as a personality. Right? As consumers, we may not think about it, it's like, it's not that serious. Right? But for marketers, it is that serious. Because subconsciously, we're a little bit psychotic in that way. Who's seen the movie American Psycho? Raise your hand. 2, 3. American 4. One of the greatest movies ever. Right? If we're talking about showing American consumerism, how shallow we are, how we're kind of fixated on this belong, fitting in, but still being unique, our competitive nature, like, almost at one point want to kill each other because we are jealous, or that someone's trying to one-up us or something. Excellent film. Highly recommend you watch it. Christian Bale stars in it. Obviously, you probably know Christian Bale from Batman series. But let's watch this infamous, it's a very infamous scene, the business card scene. Like, what's the idea? Who cares about business cards? Like, we do care about these fine details, almost to the point of being psychotic. So here, I'll tell you the scene. Patrick Bateman, Christian Bale, right? He's a graduate from Harvard. He works in this big firm. We don't even really know what they sell. Big firm, everybody makes a ton of money, but they're highly competitive, masculine guys. And they're all trying to like one-up each other in some way, right? Or railroad each other in some way. So they're almost psychotic in like the little things to do, how they dress, what they're wearing, what kind of suit, glasses, and even the business stuff. So let's see how psychotic there's a tendency to be even for the subtleties of business practice.
Patrick, thanks so much for looking after Courtney. Dorsey, how impressive. How on earth did you get a reservation there? Lucky, I guess. That's a wonderful suit. Don't tell me, let me guess. Valentino Couture, Looks so soft. Your compliment was sufficient, Louis. Hello, Halber Strand. Nice tie. How the hell are you? Alan has mistaken me for this dickhead Marcus Halberstram. It seems logical because Marcus also works at PMP and in fact does the same exact thing I do. He also has a penchant for Valentino suits and Oliver Peoples glasses. Marcus and I even go to the same barber, although I have a slightly better haircut. So how's the ransom account going, Marcus? It's alright. Really? That's interesting. It's not great. Oh, well, you know. So how's Cecilia? She's a great girl. Oh, yeah. I'm very lucky. Mm-hmm. Hey, Alan. Congratulations on the Fisher account. Thank you, Baxter. Listen, Paul, squash. Call me. What Friday? No can do. I got 8:30 Reds at Dorsey. Great. Sea urchins at Reche. Dorsey on Friday night. How do you swing that? I think he's lying. Is that a grab? New card. What do you think? me something called Cillian Rail.
It's very cool, baby, but that's nothing.
Look at this.
That is really nice. Eggshell with remodeling type. What do you think? Nice. Jesus. That is really super. How do they wouldn't like give you the taste all?
I can't believe that Bryce prefers Van Patten's card to mine.
But wait, you ain't seen nothing yet. Raised lettering, pale nimbus, white.
Impressive.
Perfect.
Let's see Paul Allen's card. Look at that subtle off-white coloring. The tasteful thickness of it. Oh my God. It even has a watermark. Something wrong? Patrick? You're sweating.
Later on in the movie, Patrick goes on to kill Jared Leto to get him in a car collision. Because he has a better apartment than him too, overlooking Central Park. So what was the point? The point is that, hey, in some subconscious way, we're just like that. Right? We want to find this uniqueness, but also be accepted, competitive, trying to be better than one another. And marketers know that we are competitors, we're competing. So the fine details do matter, even though we think that they don't. All right, so let's see. What'd you come up with for segmentation?
We talked about Spotify. So we also compared it to Apple Music, like the plans they offer. But in terms of Spotify, you have like their free version, an individual premium plan, student, if you have a student account somewhere, duo, and then family plan, which can be up to 6 people. So we're talking about segmentation is like you can appeal to parents, university students, or just any individual who wants to access more of your features for whatever the cost is compared to Apple Music. They only have 3 plans, but the prices are pretty similar. But we just said that Spotify is more compatible, so they also are appealing to people who have various CarPlay devices in the vehicles and various computers or phones and stuff like that.
All right, like, hey, Spotify probably appears to be better than Apple. Why? Probably because, don't we say first movers? We should do better. You're an innovator in that sort of area. Everybody else just kind of follows you. So Spotify, compatible pretty much in any regard, whether it be Apple or Android things, Apple CarPlay, Android CarPlay, Google things as well. Parents have different needs. You're gonna need accounts for everybody, so you might as well save the money and bundle it, right? Buy for a whole bunch of people. You may want premium things, access to certain type of content, certain podcasts or certain channels on there. Or you're like, hey, you know what? I'm a student. I just want to make sure I don't have any ads and get a discount. Or you're like, I don't use Spotify like this. I don't mind ads, so I don't pay anything at all. Right? I just use it. But different marketing will be needed for each different category, right? To retain them, to keep them coming, right? All right, excellent. So Spotify, here.
We got to school setting. So for something like
Well, the group behind you had schools. Are you doing the school too? I didn't tell them. All right, but give us your breakdown, then I'll have them give their breakdown. Sorry, I must have, my pony must have been honest.
Yes. We operate early 20s, or early mid-20s, that's where Target and Chicago area.
All right, so so you're saying early mid-20s, Chicago area individuals in that demographic. People who want to purposefully attend a religious Christian school. Athletes may find that the program suits them. Okay. Is that it? All right, good. Excellent. Group behind there, anything additional?
Those are like wanting like either their undergrad or their master's here.
Okay, so you say, hey, different education needs. Some people already got a bachelor's, right? So we need to develop a master's program. Some people may have a master's, and they may need to develop a doctorate. So the university does offer doctorate degrees, a lot of it in education. That's why this building is primarily dedicated just to education. This is the new cool building. So if you go on the third floor, all education departments, everything kind of focused on education. Huge, right? Early childhood education, elementary education, secondary education, high school, things of that nature. Okay, so degrees.
And then is that variety of incomes with the work of like scholarship and everything?
All right, so you say scholarships. Hey, we offer scholarships. You may meet the criteria for these. Maybe we create scholarships that kind of for everybody, but for different groups, right? There could be Hispanic heritage scholarship, there could be an American one, it could be a religious one, it could be anything. Okay.
And I think nowadays with the athletes and everything, and then like coming out of high school, and then also like NBA as well, kind of thing.
Okay. So you're like, hey, we may target high schoolers, right? They gotta go somewhere. Parents want them to go to college, right? A lot of them, parents want them to go to college. So maybe we target them even before they leave high school, right? So we're involved with the administration, or maybe we can work with whoever, Pearson or whoever who offers ACT, SATs. Maybe we can speak with individual high schools, see if we can have somebody go out and speak about what we offer at the university, right? A salesperson, a recruitment center, right? Recruitment people. Yeah, big time. So think about it, like, hey, like Duke's known for athletics, right? And you're like, that's the money maker. So we wanna really, really recruit on substantial, great athletes that's gonna bring in more people watching basketball and football games, right? Maybe it's football, we can talk about like University of Florida or something like that. And then you're like, hey, Harvard. Harvard's like, hey, you go here, it's one of the oldest institutions. We saw how many billions of dollars the people graduated there, gave back, which obviously shows that they're very successful people, right? Kind of speaks for itself. So, we can segment by either academics, by athletics, types of degrees being offered, the types of education. You're like, hey, does the school have a nursing program? Is there a medical school? Right? Is there a law school offered? Right? So then the university here doesn't offer a law school. So there's probably something that they're looking at. Right? Probably think like, man, we get a ton of money by offering legal education for people who want to become lawyers, get a JD, right? Get a Juris Doctorate. Like we can charge them, for the entire program, they might pay $400,000 for 3 years worth of education to get a JD. Like that's a massive amount of money. We would need law professors, probably a building dedicated to the law, right? So they could separate themselves. So maybe we would build a medical school, like, hey, we're gonna focus on surgeons and things like that. Probably a college of surgeons, college of medical, blah, blah, blah. Whole different multi-million-dollar building, innovative with technology and et cetera. So even with the university, they're always thinking of how can we segment the education. We're offering education, but it could be sliced and diced so many different ways, right? How do we go about slicing and dicing? Here.
We said Kellogg brand cereal, and, I know they're known for marketing towards like very kind of contrasting demographics, because one, they have like the sugary cereals, stuff like Frosted Flakes, and then they have like Special K, which is like its own for like health brands and stuff. So they're able to pull that off, and like one demographic is specifically like kids who like enjoy like sugary foods, that's what that is. And then obviously there's Special K, which caters towards like more healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, people who want, healthy food, we change the color of the box, we make it white. White means kind of a little bit, healthy, I guess, in our mind. If it's children, we have a little character on the cereal box, so the kids can identify with a character with the cereal. We won't do that for adults, they can care less about that, right? So we just slice and dice Kellogg cereal. And then lastly, really quick, in the back. Environmentally conscious or something? Alright, environmentally conscious people, but not all of them can afford the same thing, right? So we gotta divide that as well too. Integrated in some way, so if you bought one Tesla, you can quickly put it in another without the transition too difficult, right? So it's this family of vehicles that, just like Apple, we can all kind of understand regardless. And same operating systems, et cetera. Alright, excellent work. Hey, try to continue working on, getting your stuff ready for next week. You have a presentation for marketing assignment 1. So review marketing